that.
I'll put,
Okay, we're good to go. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm sure other people will continue to log on over the next few minutes, but I do want to be respectful of everyone's time. So for those of you who do not know me, good morning. I am Lisa Dooley of the SSWBN. We are so excited to be here this morning. I am so thrilled always when we have our quarterly breakfast, because it is always such an important opportunity for us to gather in a larger setting virtually. And we have chosen to remain virtual in this environment because it does just allow us, so I get feedback from somebody, to gather in easily, I think on a early morning, and that really does allow us to sort of broaden our reach when it comes to something like this. So we're excited to see you all here this morning. Again, we are recording. Asking everybody to put their contact information in the chat. That will be saved and shared with you after the event has closed. Let me tell you, my 2-minute spiel on the SSWBN. We've been around since 1991. I am the current president. I have been honored to be part of this organization to continue what I consider to be a really important opportunity for, yes, women to connect. And I know Jill is going to talk to us a lot about this morning. But I think what's important is that we continue to thrive and grow. We have gone through a number of manifestations, as have a lot of organizations, and we are still thrilled to be here, all these 40 years later. However, and we are a completely volunteer-run organization. We do not have any staff at this point, and we are always looking for people to join the board to continue to allow us to bring you great events. Michelle is our amazing event chair. She does an amazing job with our speakers like Jill. Sheila does a fantastic job of bringing us the charities that we're able to support, like Father Bill's Mainspring that is joining us this morning. So we are always looking for people to continue the mission of the organization. So if you have some availability, if you would like to be part of the organization, we can sort of mold the role around what maybe your strengths are. And we're really excited to continue to be able to bring all of these great opportunities. We do have some great things coming up this fall. Go to our website. I won't talk about all of them, but they are all, a number of them are listed on our website. We are bringing the ever popular Focus Chat North. We're going to do one in Braintree in November at Laura's office, which we're very appreciative of, because we want to be able to spread out where we're doing our events so that we can allow people a lot of flexibility and attendance. We have an upcoming Saturday event, which I don't think we've ever done in the history of the network, at one of our newer members up in Braintree as well. So please go to the website, sign up, join us for these events. You will not be disappointed. I learn something every time I go. We also put out a quarterly newsletter that is presently in process, which, hard to believe, fourth quarter of 2022. If you would like to be featured, you would like to talk about the tips for your business, if you would like to share a recipe that you love, we are about the whole person here. We're not just about your business. We're about, so if you have a holiday recipe that you would like to share, if you want to list some tips for what a realtor might tell you in this changing or turning market, what kind of insurance needs you might have, as we all think, keep our eyes on the news and what's going on in South Florida as we are in hurricane season. So if you have tips for your business and you would like to share those or have them shared in our newsletter, please do reach out. You can use the general email, which is info@sswbn.org, and we will forward those on to the appropriate person. And also, if you would like to talk, if you'd like to host an event, if you would like to, again, have a larger role, please do send information to info@, and we will disperse it to the correct person. So the last order of business is charities. We are working on our charities to support for 2023. If you have a charity that is near and dear to your heart, Erin, I'm so happy to see you this morning, because one of the four tenets of the network is that we are a charity supporter. We like to go out into the local community and again, support charities that add value to our lives and our social community. And we are still working on that list. So please do send us, your recommendation, if you will, and we're happy to add that to our list to review. So that's where we are this morning. I am right on time. I'm really pleased. So we're going to go around the horn. Sorry, I only have boys, and we go around the horn and just take 15 seconds, 30 seconds to just give us your name, share with us who you are and what you do, so that we can kind of put, a name to a face and a little bit of function behind that. And then we'll get started with our fantastic speaker. So I'll start. My name is Lisa Dooley. When I am not doing this, when I am not talking your ears off, as head of the SSWBN, I am a professional organizer, and I help my clients find more space, more time, and more joy in their lives. So if you know anyone that's looking for any of those things, feel free to pass on my name. So Lynn, to my left, good morning.
Good morning. Is this Lynn Feingold or Lynn Calling?
Feingold, sorry, Lynn Calling, my apologies.
Good morning, everyone. Lynn Feingold, Virtual Assistant, Boston. I'm a professional virtual assistant. I can help small businesses and entrepreneurs with their logjam of tasks, administrative tasks that are getting in their way. Please contact me through my website or on Facebook. It's Virtual Assistant Boston everywhere. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Lynn is also the VP of the network and soon to be the new president starting on January 1st. So I have to, of course, follow her by Lynn Calling from Father Bill's. Good morning, Lynn.
Good morning. Lynn Calling with Father Bill's in Mainspring. I'm the Associate Director of Development here. Very excited to be here today, and I'll be sharing a little bit more shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Lauren from Father Bill's.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us this morning. I'm Lauren Zremba, the Corporate and Foundation Relations Gift Officer, and joining today with my colleague, Lynn.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to have you here. Donna, I can't see you, but I believe you are there.
Yes.
Donna M. Schweiler. Yes. Hi, Donna.
Donna M. Schweiler, Mary Kay, beauty consultant. I'm usually on the networks liaison to the Metro South Chamber of Commerce. I try to keep you up to date on all the events that are going on. And I was at several offices in the past, and it's a lovely group to be with.
Thank you, Donna. Yeah, so Donna was our former VP on the board. And so that Donna brought up a good point. We do partner with the Plymouth Area Chamber, with the South Shore Chamber and the Metro South Chamber, because there's lots of good events happening. And so it is our intention to just continue to share about them, because we don't know what we don't know. So we'd like to share about that. Michelle Wardeman, good morning.
Good morning. Michelle Werdeman. I'm a certified life, weight, and career coach. And I just want to share that I am putting on an event as we head into the holiday season. A lot of times people are more stressed out, overwhelmed, anxious, you name it. So I am doing a workshop. I put the link in the chat, and it's an emotional mastery workshop where it's going to be a luncheon, and I teach you using science on how to deal with difficult emotions. So if you've been to any of my workshops, I like to have fun, and I do a lot of giveaways. So if there's anything with your business that you want to share, just reach out to me, because I'd be happy to, work with you and get your business out there as well. So, and if you like to journal, oopsie, this is a new journal I published on Amazon. Today is going to be a great day. So also using science-based techniques. So good morning.
Morning. Thank you, Michelle. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Sheila Barber, good morning.
Hello, Sheila Barber, Barber Home Inspections. We're on the South Shore helping with warm and personable services with your dream home, helping to make it yours. Lisa, hopefully we helped you. You're in now. And thank you so much for this group for the support. And yes, charities are really like something that I really have a passion for. So I'm so glad to be the charity coordinator.
Thank you, Sheila. Sheila has done a really great job of helping us to develop a really broad list, and that's a really important part. So again, if you have a charity that you would like to support, you can reach out directly to the info or directly to Sheila, because she will handle all of that for us. And yes, Sheila, you cannot see the chaos behind me, but yes, I'm in my new home thanks to Barbara Home Inspection. So thank you. Manessa, good morning.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Konecki. I use they, them pronouns, and I have a podcast called Stop Shitting All Over Yourself, which is for people to stop feeling like shit about their business so they can fall in love with it again and enjoy the process. Oh, and you can listen to it at Manessa.com, which I need to put in the thing. Luna was in my lap earlier. She would not leave me alone.
Thank you, Manessa. Manessa was kind enough to do a great program for us earlier in the summer, and you can also find that, I believe, that link on our webpage as well, and on our YouTube channel. Erin Cohen, good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Thank you, Lisa. My name's Erin Cohen. I'm the Director of Development at Road to Responsibility. We're a nonprofit agency based in Southeastern Massachusetts. We serve adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And this is my first event with the network. So happy to be here and meet all of you this morning.
Thanks, Erin. Erin and I met at a recent South Shore Chamber event, and I'm thrilled to see you here this morning. Kathy Ballerini.
Good morning, everybody. My
Good
name
morning.
is Kathy Ballerini. I am the owner of Explore and Exhale Travel. You can count on me for all of your vacation needs. So whatever your needs are, I'm here to help. So again, I'm excited to be here. And I just want to give a shout out to Lynn Feingold, because we did connect, and I just need to follow up with her for her services.
Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, everybody needs a Lynn, just for the record. Katie Starr, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Katie Starr. I'm a realtor with Jack Conway Real Estate out of the Plymouth office, but I do work all up and down the South Shore. I'm sure you've heard a little bit about what is going on in the market with interest rates specifically, and how that's affecting the market. So a little snapshot for you is there's more houses. So, over the last 2 years, every time I come on here, I'm like, we need more houses. We have no inventory. So inventory is actually up. Listings are up about 28% over the whole county. But sale prices are actually starting to fall. And where I thought I wrote that number down, but I didn't, and I apologize. But we're seeing longer days on market. Listings are lasting. And what that means is that they're not going under agreement quite as quickly as they were. Some still are, there's still the really special houses that are beautiful and pristine. Those are still going fast, but we're just starting. The point is we're starting to see a little bit of softening, which is good news for buyers. And it's still a very good time for a seller to sell their house. So I'd be happy to give more details to anybody that might be interested. Katie Starr with Jack Conway.
Thank you, Katie. Nice to see you. Ibby, good morning. Another one of my favorites from the South Shore Chamber Coffee. Nice to see you.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, Lisa. Can you all hear me? Oh my gosh, I have morning voice. Yes, so my name is Evie Opuyo. I'm a healthcare quality consultant, and I create workplace applications to help to address staff burnout, patient experience issues, and team effectiveness for healthcare teams, whether in clinics or in health systems.
Well, we're excited to see you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Krista Manna, nice to see you.
Trying to turn the mute back on. Good morning. I'm Krista Manna with KR Architecture and Interiors. I do both residential and commercial design projects. Since the last time we talked, I think I'm now Age in Place certified, which means that basically I can evaluate someone's home to tell you whether or not what you need to change in order to properly and better age in place. And commercial wise, I've actually been getting a lot of medical office inquiries recently. So if you know anybody who has a dentist's office or, just general medical office, feel free to send them my way.
Thank you, Krista. Nice to see you as always. My friend Gina, good morning. Nice to see you. You're on mute. There you
Good
go.
morning, everyone. It's nice to see you all. I am an attorney practicing on the South Shore, primarily in the family law arena, divorce, some mediation, post-divorce, prenups, and similar practice. I also do a little bit of basic wills and healthcare proxies, power of attorney, and some personal injury work. So if any of you need help in those arenas, please let me know. My website is attorneyginaLeahy.com.
Thank you, Gina. Nice to see you this morning.
Good
Laura,
to see you too.
yeah, good to see you. Laura, good morning.
Good morning. I am Laura Bradeen. I am a financial advisor with Primerica Advisors. So we do everything financial, although we do have a new product that we're just about ready to launch in Massachusetts. So I need another license. We're going to be doing mortgages soon. So I'm happy about that. We used to do them back in the day, but then there was the horrible crash. And so we're bringing them back. And I just want to remind everyone this month was Life Insurance Awareness Month. So I'm still offering a free consultation to make sure that you have the right product, or if you don't have any, you need to look into that. We can check out, see if you need life insurance and how much you might need. So send people my way who are looking for that.
Thank you, Laura. Nice to see you. Lee Darst, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Nice to see everybody. I'm Lee Darst. I'm an attorney in Hingham, and I have a general practice. And I have been a member of the Business Women's Network for many, many years. And I have, made a lot of friends during my time. And I do family law. I do a lot of estate planning, do real estate. I'm also going to be speaking at the She's Local conference at the end of October. Lisa, many people here are involved in that, and I'm really excited about it. And also I think they sent out something this week. There's only about 50 more tickets if people want to sign up for that. So, and I got involved with that group through this networking group, and have always enjoyed it and have really enjoyed. I see Lynn smiling because She's Local is just a great day for everybody. Everybody just walks around with a big smile on their face and makes so many new friends. And last year I got my professional pictures done by Sally Bowen, and I met a lot of other different people there. So if anybody hasn't bought a ticket and they want to have a great day of networking, I would say go on the She's Local and buy a ticket.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. I appreciate that. And if Manessa had asked earlier if you throw your your email into the chat, she wants to do a little survey before the event. So please take an opportunity to do that if you can. So before I turn this over to to Jill, I would like, if everyone can turn their camera on, if possible. Lynn, could you snap the picture?
Why, yes, I will. I'm excited. Everybody look into their camera and smile. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Jill Beresford, I am so happy to see you this morning. Jill and I have known each other for a number of years. And again, I think the older I get, sad to say, the smaller the world gets, because I met Jill a number of years ago in a great local networking group. And then someone else said, you should have Jill Beresford. Do you know her? I was like, I do. And I am so thrilled to have her here this morning. Last year, we had a great conversation around diversity and inclusion. And there is a phrase that I will never forget that they started that conversation with, which is, Diversity is being invited to the party, and inclusion is being asked to dance, which I think is so important. And I am so excited to have Jill here this morning to continue the conversation for us. Jill, screen share is on, so take it away, my friend.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for nice to see you, Lisa. Thank you, everybody, for having me on today. Hi, Gina. Gina forgot to add that she's the best cook in the world. And I've got a client on here, Evie. I see you there, and I haven't seen you for a while, but it would be great to catch up with you and hear how your business is doing. Let's just get right into this. Hang on, and we will. So I think you all read my bio. I have a company that I run on the side in addition to what I do now. It's called Genderversity. What I'm talking to you about this morning is the biochemistry of profitability. Some of the financial people on this call will have seen some of the information that I'm going to present. As Warren Buffett best says, and he's a very, as you know, wealthy guy, what makes him more optimistic about the future of business in the United States is that for most of our past, meaning way back 300,000 years, we've only been using half the talent, men. Think what would happen if we used all of our talent 100% of the time. So Warren Buffett clearly really into women in business, and that's what I'm talking about today. So a little bit about me that's not in the bio. I was born and raised in Canada. So what I don't know about hockey isn't worth knowing. The joke in our family is that I dated the hockey players who went on to be captains of the Montreal Canadiens, the Minnesota North Stars, the Calgary Atlanta Flames, wherever they are now. And my sister, who's 15 months younger, dated the NHL referees who are now in the Hockey Hall of Fame, in the NHL Hockey Hall of Fame. I started in small business at age 8. Once I graduated from college, I went and did the big corporate world. And as you read by my bio, went on to become CEO of a publicly held company at a time when only 3% of women were CEOs. It's not a whole lot different now. I hate to say it, but this was my world. And to some extent in senior management, it still very much is the only woman in the room. I got my MBA from Boston University. I love to play golf. I do it very badly. So if you're prepared to ask me out for a golf game, just remember the score will be high. I have ice and snow on my DNA. I have a couple of ex-husbands who say it runs through my veins, but I adore skiing. And this is me at Jackson Hole last year. And you may have seen me wandering around Scituate walking these two gorgeous pups, Chico and Bosco. Are my two of my 3 children. My daughter would not allow me to put her picture up here. Oh, Mom, I don't want anybody to see me in my wedding dress, but she's getting married in January and I'm very excited about that. So mother of 1, arguably 3. The 3 themes I want to cover for you today. 1, men and women are intrinsically different, way beyond the sex organs. Everybody gets that. But we're going to be focusing on science today to talk about not only how we're different, but how that impacts business performance. Balance is, we're going to define it. Balance is about 40 to 60% of women being in senior management. And the numbers I'm going to show you, Laura, you may have seen these numbers as a financial advisor, will show that when you have 40 to 60% of women in senior management, you blow away profitability and a whole bunch of other metrics. The one thing I want you all to take away is that while science explains it, it doesn't mean you have to give an excuse for poor behavior, okay, whether it's male or female. We're on a continuous journey in our lifetime to learn. We choose to learn. We choose to accept facts. And this is very true in the world of science, where historically all the research has been done on men. And that started to change in the early 1990s, and I'll talk about that. But importantly, superior performance in business is generated when the prevailing dominant culture can be dominated, meaning that all run women organizations aren't necessarily going to get the best performance. All male run firms are not going to get the best performance. It's when you when you minimize the dominant culture and create that balance that I talked about in point number 2. So I'm going to zip through this real fast, but I want you to get the business facts, okay? Your small business owners, let's take a look at Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. When he invests in a company in Shark Tank, one of his decision points that he doesn't talk about a lot is that he balances his portfolio between 50% men and 50% women. And here's what he found. When it comes to the women-run companies, if you give a project to a woman, she's likely to get it done. Give it to a busy mother. 2, he finds that 95% of the women the women-owned businesses hit their sales targets 95% of the time. Men only 65% of the time. Failing to hit your sales targets can be very destructive and damaging to a business. You have to lay people off. You don't pay your vendors. You may not be making your loan payments or paying back your investor. It can be very destructive, and women are better at setting their goals and hitting them than men are. Thirdly, he says women are very good at listening, assimilating the information that they're hearing, and that redirecting it and playing it back. And he says that's how you make it in business. Collaboration is a skill set most of you aren't aware that you have that men don't have. By the way, you can all have this presentation at the end of it. So that's kind of the small business. And unfortunately, small businesses don't get a lot of factual research. Sodexo is a very large company out of Europe, and they did research on their teams and 70 different business units that they have. And they found that balanced teams, defined as 40 to 60% women in senior management, outperformed unbalanced teams. They were 4% more likely to engage their employees, 5% more likely to understand brand awareness and be sensitive to it, 12% more likely to retain clients. This is huge. We develop relationships. 13% more likely to get organic growth. And that's because we women, whether we're aware of it or not, tend to talk about our experiences, our networking, our referrals. Did we have a good experience with the local body shop or not? And so when we provide better client retention, we're getting better client referrals and getting more organic growth, and 23% greater gross profit margins. They found that 60% female senior management teams were the best results, but if they had 70 or 80, the results plateaued, and that performance was optimized by minimizing that dominant culture group think that I was talking about. So more women in charge means bigger profits, according to Denis Meschwell, who is the Sodexo CEO. It's a big deal. Let's take a look at Credit Suisse, one of the largest investment banking firms in Europe. Every year they look at 3,000 publicly held companies. My results right now are only going up to 2016. But what they found is when you have 15% women in senior management, you're down here. If you have none or less, you're down here. But if you have 50% of women in senior management teams and the 3,000 companies they studied, you are much more likely to be profitable. When we look at Nordea Bank, a big investment in retail and commercial bank in Norway, they looked at 11,000 publicly held companies. And what they said was, when you compared the performance of those 11,000 companies where they had a female CEO against the Morgan Stanley Capital Index, they outperformed the male-dominated teams by 11% against Morgan Stanley's index, 25% against all companies. You guys are powerful, and you may not even realize why, although I'm going to get into it. Just a couple more. I'm clicking through them quickly because you're getting the message. You're powerful. McKinsey, we all know who they are. They said that when you're in a company where the top quartile has that gender diversity, 40 to 60%, you will be 55% more profitable and create 23% more value. for your organization. Rosenberg Equities, diverse boards are more profitable and predictable. Huge for investors to be looking at who's on the board, because you don't get the huge swings and losses when you can predict that a board is likely to generate returns. The average, when you had more than 20% women in senior management, you were 22% more profitable and more predictable than just male-dominated teams. Morgan Stanley, they're international, Capital International, they look at accretion, value created by boards. They found that women had a 10%, women-run companies had 10% return on investment higher, and 36% earnings per share higher. Boards with 0 women had a -1% return on investment and an 8% loss in earnings per share. More women, the reason is, tend to result in reductions in fraud. This does not mean all men create fraud and that women don't. As a bankruptcy and turnaround person, I see some women who haven't performed as well as they should. I see way more men, and the prison shows that because our prison populations are 90% men and 10% women. Women tend less to get their accounting statements right the first time. They don't go through restatement. There's much less corruption, bribe taking, conflict with the regulators, or tensions with shareholders. Recently, a CEO, a male, I forget which company, got so mad at his shareholder questions, he hung up on them. Women also bring much needed skill sets to the boards, which are deficient in human resource management. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Governmental affairs, governance, regulatory compliance, and risk management. Female directors are associated with much less aggressive investment policies. They have better acquisition decisions, both in terms of talent and companies that they're buying, and as I've shown you, improved financial performance. I'm just going to move this. Kyria Capital is a woman-run hedge fund. Their performance on an annualized basis was 9.8. The hedge fund index of all of the hedge funds, 5.86. S&P 500, you getting the message, ladies? You are very powerful. The biggest problem with women is we're humble and we don't think we're powerful. I think this is the last one I'm going to show you. First Round Capital did research that said when a woman is on a founding team in any position, that the companies they invested in when they had a female founder performed 63% better. Do you know that investment capital in the United States, only 4% of women who apply for it, meet with venture capitals, actually get it? So the message is getting out there, but it's not nearly where we want it to be. My work deals on what makes us different. How is it that we women have this power that a lot of us don't believe in, understand, even knew about? And also some male behavior. Doesn't mean you can't draw boundaries with male behavior, but this research and this work has led me to really understand the differences between men and women in business, and has empowered me fantastically when I'm dealing with men. So what is gender-specific medicine? Up until 1990, all of the research that was done in science was done on men. Well-intentioned. They didn't want to inadvertently damage a fetus if the woman didn't know she was pregnant. Witness the thalidomide experience of the 50s, right? But historically, it's all been done on men. And what happened in 1990 is the American Heart Association approached one of the top cardiologists in the world, a woman, Dr. Marianne Legato. She has some great and very funny books that you should read on the differences between men and women. And they said to her, "We want you to do research on women's hearts." As one of the world's top cardiologists, she said, "Whatever for?" Because she understood how the heart worked, right? What indeed was happening was that women were going to the doctor saying, I don't feel well. I feel like I'm getting a flu. I can't explain it. I don't know what's wrong. Back then, the primarily male cardiologists were saying, well, we don't know what's wrong with you, but you may be getting the flu. Call me tomorrow morning and we'll run some tests. And the woman would die of a massive coronary. Lawsuits, right? Mom goes to the doctor. She doesn't wake up the next morning. She goes to the cardiologist and the doctor gets a lawsuit, and they're now complaining to the American Heart Association, who clearly wants to help fix this problem. Lo and behold, Dr. Marianne Legato found, after about 7 years of research, the female heart is smaller. It has different protein content. It has different electrical wiring. Her heart attack symptoms are different. And if you fast forward today in February, you're going to get your American Heart Association mailer in your mailbox asking for a donation. Flip it over, look at the back, and it will say on the back, women may also experience these symptoms, which are different. So Dr. Marianne Legato went on to say, gee, if the heart is different, we know the sex organs are different. What else is different? She started a gender medicine program in the medical school at Columbia. It has since expanded to almost every major research university in the United States and globally. And that's where I get most of my work from, and then apply it to how that affects business. So there are very big differences. 80% of Lou Gehrig's disease patients are male. If you're only doing research up until 1990 on men, and we haven't made a lot of progress, unfortunately, in that particular area, but the research being done on men may not apply to women. 80% of Alzheimer's patients are female. I'll show you why that is. It doesn't mean we've solved for it, but they're making progress. 75% of Parkinson's disease patients are male. 90% of breast cancer patients are female. They've just identified the 16th type of breast cancer that women can get. Of the men who get breast cancer, they only get one kind. It's terminal. And it's not getting a lot of research money because they're not, just like women didn't get a lot of research money when breast cancer was being studied on male patients. Unfortunately, now the males aren't getting it because they're not big enough. Women really drove the research on breast cancer. 100% of prostate cancer patients are male. Duh. They treat prostate cancer with estrogen. 80% of autistic children are male. They believe it starts in utero. I'm going to show you how that happens. And they're diagnosed with Asperger's at 9 times the rate of female children. Our world is opening up to how men and women are different, but it takes a while, and it certainly takes a while to get it into the mainstream. So what happens when the woman releases an egg? It's always an X chromosome. The male sperm is either X or Y. They unite in utero, and they either create a female baby or a male baby. The female baby, nothing happens to her brain while she's growing in utero. Nothing, unless it's from outside sources, toxic chemicals, drugs, alcohol. For the male baby, somewhere between 8 and 22 weeks, the Y chromosome triggers a flood of testosterone that is equal to that is released into the male brain at puberty. So you can appreciate how eensy that little brain is in utero that is getting to what wipes out a year of most adolescent boys' lives when they get the flood of testosterone. It actually kills off certain parts of the brain in utero and allows other parts of the brain to grow. So is 70% of who we are DNA? Is education important in terms of how we manifest our presence in the business world and life? You betcha, baby. Is culture important? Yep. If you're a woman being raised in Afghanistan right now, your culture is going to have a huge impact on how you present to the world versus us far more fortunate women, although some days it may not feel like it, here in the United States and the Western world. Nature. that kind of are you getting food? Are you getting what's being provided for you? A lot of evidence out of Africa that if they don't get fat in the brain, baby's brain from 0 to 5 years old, the brain arrests in terms of development and they stay at that level. Nurture, raised in an alcoholic home, raised in a violent home, or was mom or dad or both, neither, aware of you. How are you nurtured? We all have what we fondly refer to as our PTSD moments. It can mean a lot in terms of how compassionate or caring you are or aren't. And then your environment. Were you raised in Philadelphia where there's shootings every day? New Orleans now just moved up to the most violent city in the world in terms of the murder capital of the world. What was the environment you were raised in? What were you exposed to? If you were raised in a farm on Nebraska, that's really different than being raised in downtown Paris, right? So the kind of environment that you were raised in. But our biology does have a material impact on our leadership style and our performance. For women, about 10% of our hormone mix is testosterone. We have it. For men, it's 8.5 times higher when they're at rest. When they wake up in the morning, it's 20 times higher than women's. Testosterone has a material impact on leadership style and performance, and here's how. And you've witnessed some of this. It can be aggression, lacking in ethics. I'm going to show you the part of the brain that controls ethics, and women's is 50% larger. Testosterone suppresses that part. It's already smaller in men and it suppresses it. Sex drive, hey, can we get that? And if it's 20 times higher than ours, that means they think about sex probably at least 20 times more a day than we do. Sometimes I wonder how they get anything done. Criminality, antisocial behavior. Our prisons are 90% men, 10% women. If you look at the antisocial behavior extreme examples, who are those people who are doing the mass killings, the shootings? Generally, they're loners, men in the age range of 18 plus. Hubris, meaning unbelievable confidence. I have a word you can't say on TV about that. They can make irrational financial decision-making. Hundreds of examples of men who've said this, I'm going to hit it out of the park on this, and they've lost money. And the difference between the male brain and the female brain is men make a choice. Command central is right here at the front of your brain, your executive decision-making center. Men make a choice. Are they going to punch you or run away? Women are driven by many things, but the hormone difference is estrogen. It tends to make us, not just because that part of the brain is bigger, but more empathetic and tending to treat people mostly the same. 144,000 people left the workforce in 1 month during COVID. 144,000 of them were women. They made the choice. Better that I work at home with my children than to leave them to fend for themselves during the mess that we've just went through. Believe it or not, estrogen is a natural antidepressant. It keeps us going. It provides clear thinking and concentration. The only time most women say, I don't think I'm being understood, and start to doubt themselves, usually is when they're challenged by a male. Memory and multitasking. If I had $1 for every woman who has said to me, I have a multitasking brain, I'm going to show you, you all do. And when we are in a crisis situation, we are much less likely to fight or flight. We try and talk our way through it to get people on side, to hear their point of view. We are attend, and I'm going to get through this because I'm running out of time. So this is the last one I'm going to have time to show you. A lot of research on the differences in the male and female brain have been done, started at the University of Pennsylvania. They put women in a brain scan machine and they said, relax. We're going to scan your brain. We're going to measure electrical activity as provided by the neurons in the brain through blood flow. The one on the left, female at rest, is the woman relaxing. Her eyes are open. This is her occipital lobe. Here, she's looking up. This is her prefrontal cortex. She's making a decision. At the same time, she's wondering if she should stop at the grocery store, go to the library, pick up the kids, call her mother and drop in. And this is her brain at rest. This is the male brain at rest. His eyes are open because this is his occipital lobe. Nothing else is going on. We find this funny, but as a practical matter, this is where when you're at home with your, if you have a male partner or sons, when you ask them what they're watching on TV and they say nothing, this is exactly what's going on. When they're flicking the channels, this is exactly what's going on. When you say to them, what are you thinking? And they have their eyes open and they say nothing, this is exactly what's going on. Biological imperative. If they can't go to their nothing box and rest their brain, they will die because testosterone plummets and they need to go here to recharge testosterone. Here's your multitasking brain, yada, 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 back and forth. Da, 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 da. The male brain works on the left hemisphere or the right hemisphere. How many of you have heard the words from men? What's your point? Their brain can't keep up with yours. It moves 10% slower and it functions on one side or the other side. And that, I think I'm just going to leave it at that because I'm over my time and see if anybody has any questions.
Jill, thank you. That was amazing. And we are so excited. So thank you, everyone. When I send out the follow-up email, I will include Jill's presentation. There's a woman named Judith Kohlberg who happens to be an organizer, and she did a presentation that I heard last year, and it's called Emotional Work. And basically it is about the fact that when your partner or someone says to you, why are you so frazzled? And you say, I have 1,000 things this is me, 1,000 things going on in my head. And they're like, well, tell me one and I can do it. I'm like, nope. Like it's all the things, right? We're carrying just not the weight of our work, our paid work or our work outside of the home. We're carrying all of the care things. And I think that is what does set us apart. It is what makes us, as the research shows, more effective in the workplace because we see that in others and we can relate to it. How that's going to change, I think, is the biggest challenge. And one of the notes I had written down was, how will all of those women stepping out of the workforce during COVID help really sort of exacerbate the problem of not having enough women in senior management positions? I will say one thing, I do have some younger nieces and I do see their partners. It is a very different dynamic, I'll tell you, than my relationship, and certainly the ones I've seen come before me. So that's what I will say. Vanessa mentioned a wonderful book, which I have read, also called Invisible Women. It is about how all research, including medical, urban planning, has been done from the male mindset and how women have been left behind. And that is a wonderful book. So I would highly recommend that as well. So Vanessa, thank you for that. Anybody else have a comment or question for Jill?
Lisa, if I could just make one comment. Leaving the workforce, which is what we should have done because we're long range thinking and doing the right thing for our families, but it is in the business world setting women back. And I have one piece of advice for every woman on here, and I usually do women only groups because quite honestly, men don't give a shit about this stuff, is if you don't have if you own your business and you don't have CEO on it, and you don't have it in your email line, and you don't have it on your, then you're not going to be taken seriously in a world that is still dominated by men in business. And when I work with 100, 125, 200, I'll say to the women, you all own your own businesses. How many of you have it on your business card, on your website, whatever? 4 hands go up. You want to change the dynamic of being seen and women being taken seriously in business. I want every woman to put it on who runs their own company. Stop this co-founder, owner. You're a CEO and you won't be taken seriously by men until they see you as a CEO. That's what I have to say about that.
Thank you for that. I just wrote a note and I need to change that on my tagline as well. And I think I know personally that comes from being raised in an environment where we were taught to be quiet, and we were taught to be the support people, and we were taught to not be too big for our britches, to use my mother's favorite term, and not, because women have historically been afraid to be labeled bitch, right? That's the word that the male patriarchy has used to keep us down, because no woman wants to be that. We want to be, we want assertive and we want in leadership, but no one wants to be called a bitch. Even though I think people have tried to change the sort of the iconography around that. So I will stop. Anyone else? There's a lot here. So anyone else like to make a comment or have a question for Jill?
I just want to comment that I had so many aha moments in this presentation, more so than usual in a presentation, and I appreciate that so much, Jill. Thank you.
You're welcome, Lynn. And by the way, Lynn, I have a lot of clients who contact me looking for virtual assistants. So please make sure you've got my email address, zing me, and we'll see if we can send some business your way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jill. That was amazing. Thank you again so much. And we'll look forward to getting a copy of that. So talking about people that support and help other people, we are thrilled to have Father Bill's Mainspring here to join us this morning. Some of you may know about them and some of the work that they do, but Lynn, take it away. Tell us about you and how we can support your organization.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that great presentation. I really appreciated hearing that too. And it brought me back to my undergraduate days as a women's studies major. And while some things have changed, a lot hasn't. But thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you for recognizing us as your charity of choice for this quarter. We can't do this work alone, and we really rely on the support of our community, whether it's through financial support, in-kind donations, or volunteer service. That's what really helps us work toward our mission of ending homelessness here in Southern Massachusetts. I am going to share my screen. I have a slideshow I'd like to share. There are a few slides that are a little outdated. We are, as many organizations and companies, very short-staffed. So this is one of the things that I haven't yet updated, but this will explain to you a little bit more about the work we do. Can you see this okay? All right, great, thank you. Let me just start this over. So we'll quickly go through the slideshow, and then I'll end with a video. Here we are. So a little bit about Father Bill's and Mainspring. As many of you may know, and some of you may not know, we are committed to ending and preventing homelessness across Southern Massachusetts. We do that with programs, shelter, wraparound services, and connecting people with housing. We're more than just an emergency shelter program. Our service area is very large. So these are the cities and towns across Southern Massachusetts we serve. We also have a tenancy preservation program, which serves Attleboro, part of the Cape and Islands, Fall River, New Bedford, and Taunton. We are a nonprofit organization. I think our board is now 21 folks. We are 200 plus full and part-time staff, more than 400 volunteers, and our operating budget is now up to, I believe, 33 million a year. So a little bit about the history of Father Bill's and Mainspring. So in 1982, Mainspring Coalition for the Homeless, which was founded by Jack and Patty Conway and Marie Sheehan, and local community religious leaders, opened Mainspring House, which is located in Brockton on the corner of Main Street and Spring Street. And in 1984, the Quincy Interfaith Sheltering Coalition, which was founded by Father Bill McCarthy, began responding to homelessness in the Quincy and surrounding areas. And in 2007, the organizations merged to become Father Bill's and Mainspring. Here is just an overview of homelessness in the United States. We see in a typical night, over 500,000 people are staying in shelters or on the streets. In Massachusetts, in a typical night, there are 17,000 plus who are staying in an emergency shelter or outdoors, including over 3,000 families. And there's over 21,000 children served by the schools who are experiencing homelessness. And in the South Shore region, again, this is Quincy, Brockton, Plymouth. In a typical night, more than 1,000 people are staying in shelters, transitional programs, or living outdoors. As we all know, here in Massachusetts, the hourly wage does not allow folks to afford housing, with housing costs, housing and rent prices increasing, with the cost of inflation going up. In Massachusetts, someone would have to work over almost 90 hours a week at minimum wage to be able to afford a place to live. So in addition to our programs for individuals, emergency shelter, we also have prevention programs, and we help people who are at risk by providing emergency funding, advocacy, connections to resources. We even have people who are sitting in housing courts to help people before they come homeless. You know, we really want to help people before they don't have a place to live, before they come to the shelter. We will always have our shelters available for people who need a bed to sleep in at night. But if we can help someone not become homeless, if they're in housing court and we're able to intervene and provide their rent in arrears, or if someone is looking for housing and they need a new apartment and we are able to assist them by providing first month, last month security, we have the flexibility to do that with our funding, because we know first month, last month security is a large chunk of money. So again, we have our emergency shelter. These triage services help people who are experiencing homelessness move on to housing or other systems of care. Our two shelters, as I shared in the beginning, are our Father Bill's Place, which is in Quincy, and Mainspring House, which is here in Brockton. And in the typical year, we provide emergency shelter to more than 1,900 unduplicated adults. We also have a seasonal shelter in Plymouth that runs from right after Thanksgiving to early April. We do that in connection with the community churches. Different churches work with us throughout the season to provide shelter at night. We also provide meals to folks. So those meals are provided by our kitchen staff and really with the support of our community. We have a very vibrant volunteer program, and individuals and corporate partners and community organizations will assemble bag lunches, drop them off to our shelter, and we make those available to folks who are staying in our shelter or who need a meal. They can come to the shelter and grab a meal. We also have a dinner program where during COVID, this was only for folks staying in shelter, but we've been able to invite the community back into the shelter now, where they can come in, have a hot meal at night. And those are also, we have a kitchen staff. We have kitchens in each of these shelters, but many of those meals are provided by community members. We also have family shelters. There's Conway House in Middleborough and Evelyn House in Stoughton. Every year we provide emergency shelter to more than 200 families. And in these family shelters, the way that works is each family unit has a room. So based on the size of their family, their room may be larger. There is a shared kitchen space. And in the larger kitchen space, each family also has their own refrigerator where they can store their own items, but they can also share that space and make meals together, find support services there. In addition to the shelter, we have permanent supportive housing. So our permanent supportive housing are housing units where there are also wraparound services that are provided. So folks who may need a little bit more support staying housed will be moved into permanent supportive housing. And we actually just finished leasing up the Roadway Apartments. I'm not sure if anyone has read about this, but it's the first in the state of Massachusetts hotel to housing conversion program. So during COVID, we rented out rooms in the Roadway Inn, which is an underutilized hotel in Brockton. We connected with the owner of that unit. It was working really well for us to depopulate our shelter. We couldn't have people lying on floors and really close to one another during COVID. So we were using these rooms. and we talked to them about purchasing the property. So with the state's help and the help of corporate and community funders, we're able to purchase the roadway in. It is now the roadway apartments, and we turned that into 69 individual permanent supportive housing units. So what we did is we added a kitchenette into each one of those rooms, and now we have 69 efficiency apartments in Brockton where people who are formerly homeless are now living. So we just finished moving people into those in late August. These are some FY20 outcomes, but these have stayed the same. 99% of our residents have stayed housed for 1 or more years, and 93% of residents stay housed for 3 or more years. And we're now up to over 650 units of permanent supportive housing. So these are just some of our housing units in Brockton. We have the Envision Bank Home for Veterans in Randolph. That house was built with the help of Envision Bank, and we housed 10 veterans there. Here's a few more. We have the McIntyre House in Quincy, the Anderson House in Hingham. We've served over 182 veterans in FY21. We also have a workforce program. It's called Work Express. So this is a really great program to train folks on job skills to help people become more self-sufficient. A little bit of an update on COVID-19. So when COVID-19 hit in 2020, we opened temporary shelters to depopulate our sites. So that's when we began using the roadway in, but we also worked with the South Shore YMCA. We got tents and put them next door to our shelter in Brockton, where we could house people and provide emergency shelter during COVID-19. And we saw the infection rates of COVID drop dramatically once we were able to space people out. And it's really helping us fulfill our mission of shelter being more than just warehousing people. So here we are, the hotel conversion that I was just sharing with you. The picture on the left is before was a room, and on the right, we added that kitchenette. So guests are able to move right into there. It's furnished. We provide these welcome home packages for folks moving into housing. Those are often provided by community members. It's a wonderful volunteer project for folks. We have a laundry basket that's filled with bedding, cleaning supplies, anything that you need just to get started in your housing. So moving ahead, we are now looking at our entire model. And as I said, we want to, and we do provide more than just shelter. So we're creating a new service model focused on prevention, triage, and assessment, and rehousing quickly with support. We are currently building a housing resource center in Quincy. It's across the street from Father Bill's place. It's called the Yawkey Housing Resource Center. We started construction. We broke ground last fall. We will be opening next year. And there will be a day center there. We will have a healthcare clinic on site. We'll provide wraparound services. We will continue to have our emergency shelter, but we'll increase the focus on addressing the immediate causes of individual homelessness. Attached to the Housing Resource Center, there will also be 32 units of permanent supportive housing. So we have this one here in Quincy, which I just shared a little bit about. If you follow our Facebook page, you can see updates. And we recently acquired a parcel of land in Brockton, which is adjacent to the VA hospital on Manley Street, and we'll be beginning construction on the Housing Resource Center in Brockton coming in 24-25. There's many different ways that you can help. As I shared, the support of our community is really what makes a difference for us. You can make a donation through our website. 89 cents of every dollar goes directly to programs and services. You can volunteer, and there's many different ways to volunteer individually or as a group. You can also organize a fundraiser or a drive. We're always updating our Amazon wish list with our high need items. There are also, with the end of the year coming, we put together a holiday needs wish list. So we share that with folks. We encourage people, if they're organizing a drive, to come to our administrative offices in Brockton to drop them off, because our shelter sites are very limited with space. And we have a distribution center here where we are then able to distribute any of the items that come in out to our sites that need them. So please follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Check out our website for updates. I also like to, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for one moment. And I have a video I would like to share. Sorry for running through so quickly. I just want to make sure that we have some time for questions too.
This is great, Lynn. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let me, one moment. All right, let me share again, and I'll share this video with you. All right, so every time I watch this video, just warning you, it makes me tear up. It's very impactful. And this is one of our participants. So the stories that we share are stories about the folks that we work with. We have a wonderful communications team who reaches out to our participants and asks for their permission to share their story. Every video, every letter, every news story that we share where a participant is highlighted, we check in with them first to make sure that they're comfortable with what we're sharing. All right. Can you all see this?
Is there sound with the video? Because I'm not getting any sound. So when you say share screen, if you stop share and then say share screen again, down in the bottom left-hand corner, there will be share sound option.
Thank you. Let me say share sound. I see it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let me do this and I'll start it over. Is that working?
You just never know when it can happen to you. I not in a million years would have ever thought, after owning my own home, that something this drastic could happen. In 2013, I lost the love of my life, Jack, and Jack and I used to work together, we lived together, we bought a home together, and Jack was diagnosed with cancer. It's just been an up and down battle since he did pass away.
Father Bill's in Mainspring serves people who are at risk of and experiencing homelessness. We provide emergency shelter to individuals and families all across Southern Mass, and we provide permanent supported housing to over 550 households.
So I was behind the dumpster for a little more than a month, and it was the nurse that I've been working with told me about Father Bill's. So I waited, and I got that call, and I just cried, and I cried, and I cried, and made my way to Father Bill's.
When the pandemic hit, we realized very quickly we had too many people residing in facilities that didn't allow for appropriate space to reduce infection. Our population reached 20% infection rate. The partnerships that we were able to forge with healthcare partners, with the state emergency management systems, all of that came together in breakneck speed. We started with tents. We had field houses where we could just create space for people to appropriately distance. And we saw the infection rate drop to less than 2%. We do have two primary objectives in mind as we move ahead into the future. And one is really to never go back to warehousing people in overcrowded situations as an emergency response. And the other is to grow our housing portfolio so that we have more housing available to those who need it. And that's why we're really excited about the future.
To be where I am right now is it's glorious. Now I have my own room, my own bathroom. I have a comfortable bed. I'm safe as safe can be here in my own special place, my own little piece of heaven here.
We have people who are elders. We have people who have physical disabilities. We have people who have serious mental health issues. And we've seen through making our shelter system less congested, people's quality of life is better. And we need the support of the people who have come through in the last year to make sure that we can continue maintaining additional sites, alternative sites for the people who are coming to our doors.
I have a caseworker. What her and I are working on now is finding for me, for socks, my emotional support, dog, a place where we can call home again. It's nothing but up from here because I'm never going to be behind that dumpster ever again. Never again will I be behind a dumpster.
How's everyone doing? I actually have some great news to share. Patsy has moved into her own apartment recently with the help of our staff here at Father Bill's in Mainspring. So that's a really exciting update to share along with that video. So that's a little bit about what we do and the life-changing work that we do here at Father Bill's in Mainspring. And we can't do it without your support. We really appreciate you recognizing us. We appreciate the support that you show by telling others about the work that we do. And if there's anything else that you'd like to do, if you'd like to volunteer, if you'd like to get to know us a little bit more, please feel free to reach out to Lauren and I.
Thank you, Lynn. That was amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. I think our greatest desire as human beings is to be seen and acknowledged. And I know that one of the things that Father Bill's Mainspring does so well is to acknowledge the whole person, not to see them as someone who is a problem to be solved. And to bring that whole, it's not just about housing. Housing is important, but all of it is important. Education and job training. A very good friend that used to be involved with the job training program there. So please do reach out to Lauren and Lynn directly. You have their contact information. You can always go to the website. Father Bill's Career Closet is one of the places I've always suggested my clients, donate their dress wear for people who are, re-entering the workforce. So thank you for sharing that with us. I think it makes us feel a little bit more appreciative this morning. It certainly does me. So I thank you for that. So thank you again for joining us. I know I've learned a lot today. I thank you again to Jill and to Lauren and to Lynn for joining us from Father Bill's this morning. Please continue the conversation. I'm sorry, I have to stop and literally save the chat right now. And I have to figure out how to do that. So give me a second while I do that. I can't, sorry. Glasses on, save chat. Okay, I saved it. And please go to our website, see what other great things. If you thought this was great, come to one of our in-person events. Yes, and great as well. So come join us for more events this fall. We are so excited about all the things we have to share with you. And thank you all for joining us this morning. I am going to end the recording. Watch for, please do watch for this email, the follow-up email, which will come to you in the next couple of days. And you will have all of this information shared with you. So thank